What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Strength Solutions Podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate reviews. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and tell me how awesome I am and how horrible Nathaniel is. Then, if you're looking for a good website, it's strengthsolutionspodcast.com, strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us future fitness questions. Strength Solutions Podcast for Apple, Spotify. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Those are right. But I meant TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.
There you go.
There you go. And we're Strength Solutions Podcast on there on social media. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
And we're a little high today.
Uh-oh.
We're in a new place.
We're 11 stories high is what we are.
Oh, yes, we are. The Eagles come next to us.
Literally, yeah.
Dude, this is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, man. We finally did it, dude. It feels so good to be in our space, to be in our space.
When
doing.
You said we did it,
Yeah.
I thought of Dora. We did it.
We did do it, yeah. And to be doing what we love, to be doing it the way that we want to do it. Man, it just feels good. And I made a post about the podcast right now, but anybody who's listening, just thank you so much for all the support that you've shown us through the years and believing in us and everything.
That's not what he said behind closed doors.
Yeah. Actually, I was like, I don't need any of these little people, man.
I did this myself.
I'm big now. Forget about everyone. No, I really, really do appreciate everybody for just, being along for the ride, man. Yeah, it's been awesome.
And that we're done with the podcast.
There you go. Yeah. We're going to be doing a short 1.5 minute podcast.
There's a lot of fitness stuff and it's going on. And I have people who I've talked to who work in pharmaceuticals and research. Mm. And I think the fitness space is kind of the reason why they're trying to take money away from pharmaceutical companies. And we act like pharmaceuticals are bad, right? That whole MAHA movement. It's about like organic food and less pharmaceuticals. And I think what's really missing in that movement is to talk about to the average individual is how do we change culture? How do we change habits?
Yeah.
And it's not by creating more fear or forcing people to do things. Mm. And I was having this conversation this morning, like when I left my client.
Yeah.
And they're in pharmaceuticals and they're like, a lot of people don't realize how many cuts are coming to pharmaceuticals and how research is just going to be based off of what makes money. It's no longer to be about like, there's a rare disease that they want to cure. So maybe your child gets this rare disease, but there's no one researching it and how to cure it or help it. And so we don't look at that long-term ramification because we are not part of the pharmaceutical companies. So some of the money they do get from the government goes to good things for issues on people who may not, have that help if it wasn't for the money that they were getting for this disease that doesn't affect many people.
Man, that's such an interesting point. And like you said, something that I don't think even I've sort of thought about.
Well, you don't think so. That's the first thing.
I know. Yeah. What am I even talking about? That is something to be concerned about, with all the things going on and stuff. And it's in a different aspect. I was reading an article today about like the food industry and how restaurants and things like that have changed a lot of the ways that they make food or deliver food or even organize their restaurants because a lot of people were saying, business owners and things, they said about 10 years ago is when social media and things like that started becoming really big and they stopped making food to taste good and more about food that just looks good, and is postable or looks cool or whatever it is. And it doesn't matter if it's good or not. It just matters how it looks. And in that same aspect, going back to this, it's like, it's just about what makes money, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. And so, we work with a lot of special populations, and I'm seeing you with all of yours and stuff like that. And it's like, if those diseases, stop making money, are we going to be in a position where now these people can't get help?
So I try to explain to a lot of people who are like business minded and they're like, business and money and all that stuff. And I think we talked about a little bit is if your focus is business, it's like me telling a client, the only thing you need is strength training. When cardiovascular work has its purpose, mobility has its purpose, resting has its purpose, right? And yeah, strength training should be a part, just like business should be a big part of it. But there's other aspects to life and life is complex. And I think the issue right now is everybody's looking at like maximizing money versus let's be humans and be good to people.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, like, everybody's about transactions now, right? So there's times like I've given away stuff to people. They're like, you sure you don't want any money for it? Because people are so used to just asking for money.
Something has to happen.
I have to get something in return for something else. We don't no longer do things out of the goodness of our heart. We're so transactional, and relationships in social media has been like that too as well, where these red pill guys, well, if I'm working all the time, she needs to be in the kitchen and all this stuff. Everybody has a different lifestyle. Everybody has a different need. We need to quit telling people like everything needs to be a transaction. Yes, there's things that happen over here and you need something over there, but it doesn't have to be at that, like, if I do this, you do that, because then you're keeping score. Then you're never going to be happy.
And keeping score is a bad thing to do if you know anything about relationships.
Sometimes I think keeping score in fitness, right, and health.
Yeah.
When you have clients that are like, you got to track everything. They get so enamored with tracking so much that they forget about their health.
So here's a super good example. This morning I was talking to our boy, and he's a guy that really, really needs
validation.
No. He's really goal orientated. So it's like he has to have a goal. He has to have like this happening there. It needs to be, what's the next thing? He's always like building these things. And right now he's kind of starting his own business and doing all this stuff. And I was telling him that I was like, we go through phases in life where maybe exercise isn't like the number one priority. It doesn't mean that you need to do it, but maybe you're in the business owner just trying to get through the year phase of your life,
That's what I feel like we're at.
Yeah. And I was telling him, I was like, I think the best thing that you can do right now is have no goal at all. Let's just erase it. Your goal right now is just showing up, like get through it. Your priority is this right now. And we just go through these different aspects and parts of our lives where certain things become priorities, certain things don't. And not everything has to have this, like, I don't know, ultimate end thing, because like you said, when you start hyperfixating on stuff like that, I almost feel like you get farther away from reaching that goal at the end. It's like, just take it day by day and figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think there's a lot of good intent that happened early on about like setting goals and doing this and doing that, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes the goals should be just habit goals, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Just getting in a workout. Like they don't have to be this number.
Yeah.
And I think too many times, like even doctors were fixated on your blood work has to be this number to this number. When in reality, they're not treating you, they're treating like a population. So therefore, based off this population, you need to be here. But what if your number falls below, but it works for you? And they're starting to see that it does make a difference for each individual.
We need to go to like that individual aspect, right? I was, again, talking to a client, and she was telling me a little bit about like her blood work and things like that. And they had mentioned that their blood work this time, their cholesterol was a little bit higher than it normally has been in the past. And their doctor was kind of like, hey, like what happened? Like usually you do really well, like, this and that, whatever. And she was like, have you been doing anything different? And my client was like, no, like everything's been about the same, like I haven't really been eating terrible or whatever it is. And I was kind of telling her that I was like, cholesterol on its own is kind of one of those things that we're not like dietary intaking cholesterol doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be.
It doesn't really affect
it doesn't cholesterol level, right? Because she was like, should I stop eating cottage cheese? Should I stop eating eggs? And like, and I was like, well, no, because those are highly nutritious, good protein sources. These aren't the foods that like we're trying to target, getting rid of. And just because, they are high in cholesterol doesn't mean that that's going to necessarily increase your standing, cholesterol. If we're eating fried foods and if we're eating donuts and that's different.
A lot of people believe cholesterol is just a symptom of something else you're doing, right? So like you're eating poorly, you're not doing enough cardiovascular work.
Yeah.
And also, what is your family history? Is your cholesterol naturally higher? And what is the number that they're doing that they're like, okay, this is so off?
What are you
like, is it
basing
10
off of?
points?
Or
is it a whole 50?
Right. Yeah. And those things matter, right? Because it's a spectrum, right? That's why there's a level.
Are you calling me on a spectrum?
like in testosterone, right? It's like testosterone is actually a perfect example because, they'll say anything is normal from fucking, what is it now? 200, 200 to like what, 1,000, right?
I was dead.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
3:30.
And so it's like, okay, well, someone might feel, I'd be surprised, but well, if someone might feel fine at 300, the other person might feel fine at 900 and they need to be at that level. And just because it's way at the end of the spectrum, if that's what gets them to feel the benefits of testosterone, then that's just where they need to be, or like you said, it's a symptom of maybe something larger going on. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's just like when we go back to fitness and pain, the symptom is not the cause a lot of times.
Yeah.
And, we'll have a client who has knee pain and you can just tell it's the hips or it's the ankles.
Yeah.
And they're like, but it's my knee. It's like, it has nothing to do with your knee.
Right.
It starts up top where the other joint is that causes the issue. And I think too many times in society, we look at these symptoms, right? Let's just talk about poverty, right? And the symptom is just throwing money at it. That's the cure, right? Throwing money at it. Sometimes the best thing you do is actually let people within their communities actually take the money and do things that their community needs to do. What happens is we have this like savior and we're to give you this money and then we're to save your community, when you should just give the community the money and let them figure out what they need out of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I've seen like a big
GoFundMe for String Solutions.
Yeah. That's actually, so if y'all want to help the community real quick. It's like, I've seen this kind of pulling back, I guess, where people are getting more concerned with their local governments, right? While the federal government is doing separate things. There's a big movement for like younger people to get more involved in just what's happening in San Antonio, right? Or things like that, where it's like, okay, well, if we can't change everything, then we need to be able to work within the community to make at least this better, right? For us living here right now, and that's what's more important than kind of looking at that larger thing. So, trying to, like Austin's a good example in terms of like poverty and stuff like that. You sent me that post the other day that like Joe Rogan's friends like hate Austin or something like that. Yeah. Because of like the high levels of, there's a lot of homeless population in Austin and stuff. And
it's hot.
It's hot as hell.
California has great weather.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in California who moved here are literally regretting.
That's the thing, is that they're saying that everybody from California or anybody from anywhere really only knows Austin. Like that's like the place in Texas that you move to, right? Especially if you're from California.
Right?
Yeah, or it's like the cool hip, technological tech bro place that's happening right now, and so everybody kind of goes there, and then they're like, oh, actually, this place isn't as it's advertised, right? Yeah. And it's like, if anybody in Texas has ever been to Austin, you know exactly what it's like. It's almost, I'm not gonna go bashing Austin. It's like,
there's good parts about it. It's just like every city.
It's just like San Antonio too, right? Yeah, it's like, San Antonio's great in some aspects, and then other times it's also just a hot.
I'm trying to go to concert, but I have to go to Austin. Go to concert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's all these different levels.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too, when we talk about like Republicans versus Democrats and each of their states. And you'll hear people who are Republican in California like, I wish I lived in Texas and blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. A lot of these Republicans moved from California and now they wish they were back in California because the grass is always greener on the other side. And I think people don't, there's things that California does that it's really good. But we live here and we have this biased opinion of here. It even happens in sports where there's somebody from the Midwest and the Midwest teams are the good teams and whatever. We don't realize as humans, we automatically have this bias towards the lifestyle that we had or have in whatever area we're in life. So if I'm from the East Coast, I think the South is so slow. They're not smart people.
Yeah.
Or whatever. When in reality, there's a lot of smart people here.
Sure.
It's just not as competitive, right? It's a little slower. It gives you time to think. And there's pros and cons. It can be based off the individual too. Some people will thrive in that type of environment that's a little bit slower. Some people will thrive in an environment that's way faster. Yeah. And I think we just try to like, this is the best environment to be in. This is the best. It doesn't work like that.
It's funny when I was talking to one of my clients this morning about my time in England. And I was like, by the last like 2 or 3 days, I was kind of ready to come home. And she made a funny comment. She was like, yeah, you passed the phase where you were like, I could live here. And I was like, that's a really good point. Cause like you get there and you're like, this place is awesome. It's so much better. They do this, they do that. Cool. Whatever. And then it's like by the second or third day before leaving, I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to just go home, but you get that sort of, like you said, grass.
I've never felt that when I went to Puerto Rico or Cancun.
Yeah. Cause I'm sure there's some places where you kind of go like, oh, well, I'm actually really happy with where I live.
Well, cause I'm a beach person.
There you go. Yeah. So you want to stay there forever.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't stay in England for the heat. That's not fun, but I like the rest of it. It's
Bro,
nice.
it's not even that hot.
No.
We live in Texas.
During the heat wave, it was because
they don't have AC.
They don't have AC. If they had AC, I would have been like, this place is awesome. I could live here forever. But I guess it even makes you think, right? Where it's like, oh, well, sometimes this type of things happen, and maybe it's not the best all the time, you know? So I don't know.
You know, there's a tripod in front of us.
Uh-huh.
And it makes me think of like, I just joined Crunch.
Oh, yeah. You're telling me.
So I've been going and I'm like, dude, there's a lot of people who post fitness pictures all the time. Didn't realize people were trying to be fitness influencers a lot. And I've seen these people recording their videos. They're working out all hard. And I'm just like, the reason we talk is because we're just trying to like give you ideas. And I'm like watching someone's video of working out. You don't even know what's going on in their head, how they're activating their muscle. And I was like, this is where training comes in handy. Like,
yeah,
you should really go through a trainer. I mean, I literally had this kid yesterday, helped him. He's like, I'm not fast.
Okay.
And he wants to be faster on the skating ring.
Okay.
And just by...
He's a hockey player?
Hockey player, yeah. No, he's an ice skater.
Figure skater.
Figure
there you
skater.
go.
No, hockey player. And I was like, look, because you're not pushing off the right spot. And so I slowed him down. And I was like, you can do this as fast as you can. And then all of a sudden, it was quiet. And you saw the feet snap like real fast. And I was like, look, you got to slow down to speed up. And a lot of people don't know this.
Yeah.
But I watch an Instagram video of someone going real fast, like doing some like bicycles or like V-ups and then a quick press. Like, no, most of people out there need to slow down and really learn how to feel their body.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you missed that, right? Like you said. And I think one of the things with like fitness...
and genetics. They don't talk about genetics. Genetics... This person has this body because they have amazing genetics. I remember this one kid at the gym that I was at literally ate Whataburger and shitty food and had like the best body ever. And I was like, you fucking asshole.
Damn you.
I hate you.
Yeah, I hate you. But yeah, it's like, I think one of the things with fitness influencing too is like thinking about it. It's one of the influencer aspects. I feel like that has a very low barrier to entry. Like you don't need a lot of money to do it. You just need a tripod and a gym membership, and anybody and their mom can be a fitness influencer. And I think there's so many aspects to it too.
And I don't mind the low barrier.
And I don't mind. Yeah. It's like, I think it's good that it's getting people into exercising and stuff like that. But then I worry, because we've had people come and ask us like, there's just so much information out there. I don't know what to follow. And that's where I have like a problem with it. But what I was getting to is that there's so many different aspects of fitness influencing, right? Like you could be someone who is, you know, generally what you would consider out of shape or not, you know, in good shape or overweight or whatever it is. And you could still be a fitness influencer because I'm on a weight loss journey. I'm, you know, this, I can be, or
that's the positive side, right?
Yeah. Or I can be someone who's crazy jacked and be the guy that's like, oh, you got to work harder, blah, blah, blah. But there's so many different like little pieces of it that you can do. And I think that's why everybody kind of hops on it and is like, bro, everybody's a fitness influencer.
Yeah.
Man,
and I think the ones that do a really good job are the ones that say, look, this is my journey. This is this client's journey. This is this client's journey, who've actually coached people.
Yeah.
Because it's so individual. Right. I mean, I've literally had someone who had knee pain. One person does this, or back pain. It's from the shoulders. It's from here. It's just like, it's so individualized.
Yeah.
And I think we need to go back into that, some individuality.
Yeah. And just like making sure that we talk about it and we kind of like point that out. I have clients that have leg pain. I had 3 clients come in today that told me that their knees were bothering them. And each one of them, it was a different reason why. One of them was working on their knees the whole time. One of them has been running for a while and having some issues with it. One of them maybe just slept wrong or did whatever. And it's like, there's 3 different reasons why everybody came in today and said, my knees hurt, you know? And it's like, I could go online or I could give them all the same exercise, right? You know, oh, I saw this thing that said it'll relieve your knee pain, you know, if you do this movement or whatever. But all of them, I'm like, you might need a foam roll. Oh, you may just need to lay off your knee for a little bit. You know, hey, you know, we should probably do some movement here. And the treatment for each one is different also. Yeah.
And we know why Nathaniel's knees
hurt. Look, I've had knee pain maybe once.
He's used to being on his knees, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to get knee pads, proper
No, I just
hard
think,
hat.
I just think it's interesting. We're also all recording our workouts because then you're not in your movements, right?
Yeah.
And these people look fit doesn't mean they're moving properly. So there's a difference between movement quality and the way you look, right? And so I think we also got to separate that out. And a lot of people don't understand, because somebody looks like it doesn't mean they're actually good to follow.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a large portion that I see on comments or whatever it is where people are like, bro, but look at how big he is. Who cares how he's doing it? You know, like I'm going to do that if it's going to get me that big. And it's like, okay, well,
you have different genetics.
Yeah. It's like the fact that he can do an exercise wrong and still be super giant is a pretty good indicator of the fact that he's different than you. You know,
I mean, I think the best thing I could go back to, you go to our podcast with Austin.
Yeah.
And we asked him, when did you know you were so strong? He was like, when I was breaking records in high school.
Yeah.
No wonder the dude's a good strong man.
Yeah. He was just literally built differently.
But he also works out hard. He works out smart.
Yeah.
If you, that's why he's at the level he's at, because he works out smart, not just hard.
Yeah.
But really smartly.
Super,
I mean, the conversation we had was at a high level.
Yeah.
And
it's funny because I feel like general population, you look at strongman and you're just like, oh, these dudes are just fucking meatheads and they're just lifting shit and whatever. And it's like, no, man, these are like elite athletes. Yeah. That have like teams behind them trying to figure out what they need to do to just get a little bit more out of, you know, whatever lift it is, or make sure their recovery properly.
Like this part of your hamstring is causing your deadlift to be the issue.
So we need to work on just this little part. You know, you got to sleep this much, you got to eat this, you got to do whatever. And it's like, dude, these guys do it for a job, you know? Yeah. And that's a good point too. Talking to people today, the same person that had like the goal issue and stuff like that, you know, I was like, look, dude, like we're not gonna be these guys, you know, you're not gonna be that dude that has, you know,
it's not your job.
It's not your job, and it shouldn't be. You know, your job right now is your fucking job. You know, like let's focus on you know, working out and being a good business owner and stuff like that. And you know, we can leave that other stuff for another time when your life is in a different phase. You know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just think a lot of times fitness is very individual, and you got to know where you're at in your life, what phase of your life, even phase of the year that you're in, right? And so sometimes I had a client one time in September is end of year for them because it's state level or federal. And and I knew that month, I was like, your goal is just to stay the same exact weight through controlled eating. If you work out, you work out. If you don't, you don't. But at least do mobility work.
Okay.
And it would work. When we took the pressure off, there was better results. Sometimes even weight loss. And sometimes you just got to take the pressure off. And then there's been times where I've had a client, you're doing too much, just pull back, and all of a sudden they lose weight.
So funny, bro. So like, I know that me and you have gone through like phases of like, hey, we're going to try and cut this time. You know, we got to do this, do that, whatever. And it just never was really the right time for either of us, right? Because we were just going through, you know, trying to get the business going or trying to find out this or work out or just live life or whatever it was. And as soon as we were able to come in here, haven't felt like as, like I don't have any cravings. I'm not like sitting around being like, oh, I really need to do this, or I just want to eat junk or whatever. Like I feel this like relief, you know, like it's like, oh, we're good. I've been able to focus on how much I'm eating more nutritious and stuff like that. And there's no like pressure, you know, and it feels good. It's like, oh, I think this is the time I was waiting for, you know, and we both would say that, right? It's like, once we're able to do it, it's just going to feel like we can, you know, and it feels good.
I'm always stressed.
You know, we need to be the yin and the yang, you know, one of us got to be.
Nathaniel's over there like, oh my God, bro. Like, let's go.
Skibbity, bro.
I'm locked in, fool.
Yeah.
And he points his head like that too.
Yeah. And so, you know, but yeah, it's like talking about sometimes just having to relieve the pressure of always having pressure, you know, of always needing a goal, of always doing that. Like you have pressure in so many aspects of your life. While fitness, it's good to have goals and things like that, but changing the goal from this idea of it needs to be this way, it needs to be that number, I need to work out this many times a week, and I got to move through the program like this. Like sometimes it's just about showing up to the gym and moving some weights for 30 minutes and getting out and going to work, you know?
Yeah. So what do you think is the optimal body percent fat?
2%.
Steve.
Okay, I'm just gonna go off of like normative values. I'd say for women, you'd probably be 25 to 35. Guys, I'd say 15 to 25, somewhere in there.
So this is for guys, right?
Okay.
So optimum body fat for men is higher than gym bros think.
Okay.
Recent research suggests body fat percentage is better predictor of attractiveness than BMI or shoulder to waist ratio.
Okay, so we're talking about in terms of attractiveness here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ratings for physical attractiveness using a series of 15 DEXA images rated both by females and males in 3 countries: China, Lithuania, and UK.
Okay.
So 3 different ones.
Interesting countries. I wonder what their beauty standards are.
I think it's probably, I would say compared to the United States, it's not as lean.
Yeah.
UK would probably be pretty lean still.
UK,
Australia, and US.
They're real small.
BMI, which maximizes male attractiveness, should be around 23 to 24.
BMI, not body fat. Okay.
Yeah. Shoulder waist ratio is 1.57.
Okay.
The most attractive male bodies have a body fat percentage of, what do you think?
25%.
25% body fat?
Is that too high?
That's for men?
You said higher than normal. So I'm thinking really, really high.
You're going way too high.
18,
okay,
18,
what is
18.
the point where you are close to a six pack, but you're not?
So I'm going to say 12, 15?
13 to 14%.
Hey, that's pretty good.
This makes good evolutionary sense as all the ranges are closely linked to metabolic health. Okay. So a lot of people thinking being ripped up is good, but actually having a little bit of fat on you allows you to be stronger, allows you to be healthier. Your metabolic your metabolism.
Your brain can perceive that, right? You can see someone and be like, that person's not healthy. That person is healthy. And even if you're not sitting there thinking that, subconsciously your brain is like doing the calculations,
Yeah.
And that's why, and it's like, you can see that, and I think that you're right. It's like you see people.
I remember when I was 7%. I think I looked the best when I was like 12%, 11% with a little bit of mass on me.
Yeah. And it's like you see, again, taking Instagram, for example, the bodybuilder people are only with other bodybuilders. Right, because number one, they probably are the only people that find that really attractive for a lot of reasons, right? And so also the only other people that can live their lifestyle.
Yes.
Right. So I see, oh man, what was it? I forgot. I think I was listening to a podcast or something.
Bro,
maybe I was talking to someone in real life, but they were saying
you're talking to yourself.
that they I was just talking to the mirror. Whoa,
bro.
That's a good story, bro. They were saying that they had seen like a Tinder profile, right? Like a dating profile. And the person on there was like, oh, I'm a runner. If you can't run, 3 miles at a talking pace with me, then, go train and then maybe we can talk to each other and stuff like that. And it was like all this stuff. And I know that's like a really extreme, stupid example, but it's one of those things where you look at that and you're like, well, this isn't someone I can go have a drink with. This isn't someone that I can go out to eat, on a Friday night. Like
no social lifestyle.
No social lifestyle,
that's
right?
The Maha movement.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like you see, that's a good point. Like maybe this guy does believe in that, oh, if you don't eat organic only, then I don't want to talk to you. And it's like, you see someone who maybe has a little bit more percent body fat, maybe, and you think like, oh, okay, well, that's probably someone that can still have fun, right? But it's still, conscious about their health and things like that. But I don't think we think about that,
We live as such extremes as humans.
And it's funny how
not good for your health.
It's funny how I feel like both sexes, I bet if you asked them.
Whoa, we can't talk about women.
Yeah. I feel
you've been banned.
This is my opinion.
What? Podcasters have opinions? They don't have nothing but facts like Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
It's funny because people were watching Joe Rogan and people were like blaming him for stuff, but like, dude, it's an opinion podcast.
Yeah,
like,
you decided that was a fact.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like, I bet if you ask both of them, hey, what do you think a guy finds attractive? They're going to be like, oh, a girl who has a skinny little waist and abs and big butt and, this and that. I bet if you ask the guy, they're going to be like, oh, you got to have a 6-pack and big old chest and whatever. But then when you look at the people that they actually find attractive, it's none of those things, So it's weird because we have this skewed idea of what's attractive. I also think
as you age, you see attractiveness in different things.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I think as you mature, you're like, at first you see what society sees as beauty. And then as you grow, you do have this concept of beauty, but it grows into like, I could find this attractive from this, and then I could find this attractive that. And I wonder if it has to do just because your age, you don't have the time to be as picky.
Yeah.
Or maybe you learn that there's different beauty in different things because through your whole life and whole process, you'll realize things are not what they seem all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, and you know, it's like one of the people always say like beauty fades away, right? And it's like when you're young, maybe you're just.
Hey, if beauty fades away, why are older people fucking the most?
That's true.
And passing STDs that home.
It's a little nasties, man.
Hey, they can't get pregnant.
They can't get enough, bro. Yeah. And it's like, you know, like you said, as you get older, maybe you find someone's discipline more attractive. Maybe you find their hardworking mentality or their caring or their emotion or whatever. And you find these different aspects of what makes someone a good partner outside of just the way they look or their six pack or whatever it is. And I think that's like the sentiment here, you know, is that while you may be worried about all this stuff and how you look and your workout routine and things like that, as life goes on, those things matter less, and just your health overall matters more. How you treat other people, right? Talking about the beginning of the podcast, are you transactional? Are you, you know, and it's like those things are what end up mattering the most as we get older.
Yeah. And I think I was listening to this girl like talk, and she was like, I hate the whole talking phase and stuff like that.
You were like, la, 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 la.
And I think like you got to go, I think the problem is you got to go through the hard shit. You just got to go through it.
Yeah.
And you got to go through a talking phase. You got to go through and learn. And
because also if you don't go through the talking phase, what the problem is, the hell, you just
everybody wants the answers, right?
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation recently. I was like, everything in life is educated guess. Even when I'm training people, it's based off of educated guess. A doctor talking to you. These are the 5 probabilities. It's probably most likely probability 1. They're going to go in number 1. Let's try that. And then they're going to, no doctors get 100% right. The fact that somebody came up to me one time and they're like, I'm cramping in my legs, and I started running. And I was like, well, it could be sodium water. It could be that you just haven't ran in a long time. It could have been a humid day. It could be a bunch of factors. But all you're telling me is you're cramping. I can't tell you what it was from.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I think first thing I was like, well, how much water are you drinking? How much sodium do you actually have that fix the issue?
There you go.
And I was like, well, that's most likely the culprit, right? If it's humid, it's just pulling more water, and then that's why you cramped up.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the time it's that, right? Like I had a client who had an issue with cramping at night. She kept waking up with like these like terrible like calf cramps and be like, oh shit. And I was like, maybe before bed you take an electrolyte packet, you know, maybe you're sweating a lot during the night or something like that, and you're just like drying up. And so, hey, let's take an electrolyte packet before bed, maybe drink one in the morning, see how that goes. And yeah, it's like after time, she was like, you know, it's definitely not as bad. You know, I haven't really had as much issues. You know, some nights I go without it at all. And I'm just like, okay, well then keep it up, you know, like it may just be that, you know?
Yeah, dude, it's just, it's crazy that people want these answers all the time. And whether it's like relationships, anything, like, you know, I read a lot of different things. I watch a lot of different social media from like sex, relationships and stuff like that. And the conclusion I keep on coming up with is you got to be in the moment. You got to be present. You got to like know what you need. You need an outside observer to know what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's just crazy to me. It's just insane to me that people still have an issue with that.
Maybe one day we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
All right, guys. If you like what we're doing, you can like, subscribe on Apple and Spotify. You can rate reviews. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe. And leave us a funny comment.
Oh, yeah. Please.
StrengthSolutionsPodcast.com for our website, StrengthSolutionsPodcast@gmail.com for a fitness question in the future. Strength Solutions Podcast for TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
And we're here.
We're here.
Deuces.